Part 3. Using the BSC in Maintenance
เมื่อทำงานกับตู้ชีวานิรภัยผู้ใช้งานควรรู้ขั้นตอนการใช้ตู้อย่างถูกวิธีรวมไปถึงการบำรุงรักษาตู้เพื่อให้ตู้ชีวานิรภัยทำงานอย่างเต็มประสิทธิภาพ
Before working in the cabinet, the principal investigator or user should conduct a risk assessment for their working procedures. Also, a standing operating procedure should be developed to control and reduce the work hazards. Consult your biosafety officer if you have any questions on this issue. BSC users should be careful to maintain the integrity of the front opening air inflow. The integrity of this directional air inflow is fragile and can be easily disrupted by air currents generated by people walking close to the BSC and opening and shutting doors. So, when you are planning your work, be sure your schedule has uninterrupted lab time. Also, post a sign on the outside door stating that the BSC is in use to prevent air disruptions, especially when the BSC is located in a small laboratory space or close to the door. For safety, the user should always read and understand the safety manual. In addition, make sure emergency spill protocols and decontamination procedures are developed and trained. The user should always wear the proper personnel protective equipment such as a lab coat or gown, surgical mask, safety eyeglasses, and gloves. Wearing gloves will prevent contamination of your product from skin cells that are found on your hands. Check to make sure the cabinet has the current certifications. When it is time to start working, turn the blower switch to on. Ensure that the sash is open at the proper operating height as determined by the manufacturer. The cabinet blower should be operated for a minimum of 5 to 10 minutes before beginning work to allow the cabinet to purge. This purge will remove any particulates in the cabinet. At this time, check the following. Make sure that the cabinet drain valve is closed. If the BSC has a magnehelic gauge, check the gauge readout. Stop working with the BSC and notify your supervisor or responsible person if the magnehelic gauge has a 10% change in the gauge readout from the manufacturer's certified value, or if the BSC blower does not work or the cabinet alarm is heard. Leave the BSC blower running. Check the inward airflow by holding a piece of tissue at the middle of the work opening near the front grill level and ensuring it is drawn in. Then, wipe the work surface, the interior walls, and the interior surface of the window with the appropriate disinfectant. Spray or wipe the surfaces of all materials and containers with the appropriate disinfectant prior to placing them in the cabinet. Avoid placing unnecessary items in the cabinet because they will cause air interruptions and reduce the efficiency of product protection. Do not use a BSC for storage. To avoid moving any dirty items over the clean ones, set up your work area by dividing them into 3 areas. Put clean items on one side of the area and dirty items on the other. Do your work in the middle. Large items should be placed at the back of the cabinet. Do not put any items such as plastic-backed absorbent toweling on the front grill and sides of the cabinet because it will interrupt the airflow and introduce contaminants to the cabinet environment. While working in the BSC, perform all work using a limited number of slow motions, as quick motions disrupt the air barrier. Try to minimize entering and exiting your arms from the cabinet, but when needed, move arms slowly and straight in and out. The general workflow in your cabinet should be from clean to dirty. Materials and supplies should be placed in such a way as to limit the movement of dirty items over clean ones. Use aseptic technique when working in the cabinet. Do not use Bunsen or constant flame gas burners in a BSC, since they contribute significantly to heat buildup, disrupt the laminar air streams which must be maintained for maximum efficiency, and heat from flames can damage the HEPA filters. If a procedure demands the use of a flame, a burner with an auto ignition should be used so that the flame can be ignited only when actually required and immediately turned off after use. When the procedure is completed, do not turn off the BSC blower immediately. The next procedure should be followed. Close or cover all containers and decontaminate the outer surface of all materials and waste containers prior to removing them from the cabinet. Dispose of all waste generated in the cabinet into a biohazard bag located inside the cabinet. Remove the materials and equipment from the workspace. Wipe the work surface with disinfectant, remove gloves, and put them in a biohazard bag located inside the cabinet. Tightly close the biohazard bag and disinfect the outer surface of the bag before removing it from the cabinet for disposal. Turn off the cabinet blower after completing the BSC surface decontamination. Close the cabinet sash. If the cabinet must be turned on at all times, the cabinet sash must be open to the proper operating height as determined by the manufacturer. UV light usage for decontamination is not recommended due to the limited usefulness of its low penetrating power when sterilizing material within the BSC, and because the UV light must be constantly checked and maintained properly. If a UV light is used, the BSC sash must be closed completely and the cabinet blower must be turned off. After turning on the UV light, the room should not be occupied by non-essential personnel because UV light can burn the cornea and cause skin cancer. Therefore, it is important to wear the proper eye and skin protection to prevent such occurrences. Routine cleaning. Routine cleaning for the BSC consists of not only surface decontamination, but also cleaning the drain pan. The drain pan, or a drain spillage trough, is located beneath the work surface to retain spillage from the work area. BSC drain pan cleaning procedure. First, turn off the cabinet blower and then remove the work tray. Spray the disinfectant and be sure to allow for a sufficient contact time. Second, check for sharp objects that may be present, such as broken glass. If any sharp item or items are found, remove them with forceps. Third, carefully wipe the surface of the drain pan with a paper towel. Fourth, put the work tray back in the right position. In addition to the BSC routine maintenance, the BSC should be certified annually if it is moved, whenever the HEPA filters are changed, or when maintenance repairs are made to the internal parts. The BSC certification must be performed by a trained certifier and certified in accordance with the manufacturer's specifications. The user should read the BSC manual for the BSC certification requirement standards. Again, the certification must be performed by trained personnel. We will show you an example of the BSC testing parameters according to NSF ANSI 49 standards recognized in the United States. The following are the primary test requirements for BSC field certifications. Downflow velocity test, which measures the velocity of air moving through the cabinet. inflow velocity test that measures the velocity through the work access opening, HEPA filter test, which is done to determine the integrity of the HEPA filters used within the cabinet, airflow smoke pattern test, which is designed to ensure the proper airflow into and within the workspace, site installation assessment tests, which are performed to verify that the cabinet is properly integrated into the facility. Last, the cabinet integrity test, which is only for BSC type A1 cabinets built before 2008. In addition, the following tests related to work comfort and safety should be done. The user can request that the field certifier perform the following test: electrical leakage and ground circuit resistance and polarity test, lightning intensity, vibration, and noise levels. Upon receiving the BSC certification test report, the user should review the results by comparing them with the acceptable ranges referenced in each BSC manufacturer's manual. The acceptable ranges vary on the standards, so it is important for the user to refer to the specific BSC manufacturer manual.
ตู้ชีวนิรภัยไม่ใช่อุปกรณ์วิเศษที่จะเนรมิตความปลอดภัยให้แก่ผู้ใช้งานได้แต่ผู้ใช้เองต้องใช้ตู้ให้ถูกวิธีดูแลบำรุงรักษาตู้อย่างเหมาะสมและมีการตรวจรับรองตู้อย่างสม่ำเสมอซึ่งทั้งหมดนี้ก็เพื่อความปลอดภัยของคุณชุมชนและสิ่งแวดล้อม